Hey friends, welcome back to Simply Home and Harvest. I'm Jen, and today I've got 3 recipes that you can make in your slow cooker. They're cozy, they're comforting, and they'll be easy to get on the table for you and your family. Now the first recipe I want to share with you today is a slow cooker creamy chicken and rice. This is very much like the chicken casserole. My family really likes chicken and rice meals of any kind, so this one was a hit. It was easy to assemble, and of course, the slow cooker does all the work for you. You just put it in there and you can just walk away. That's the beauty of these recipes. So definitely give this one a try. Here's how we made it. The great thing about all of today's recipes is that they require very few ingredients and most of what you can get at your local grocery store. Also, wanted to let you know that all of today's recipes will be linked in the description box below for you. First up today is this delicious creamy chicken and rice. First thing you're going to need are 2 packages of the Knorr creamy chicken rice side. Just want to sprinkle those into the bottom of your slow cooker. And then you're going to add 1 can of cream of chicken soup mix. Now, I'm going to show you a recipe very soon on how to make your own soup mixes without having to buy those cream soup mixes in the can, which contain a lot of extra ingredients that you really don't need. So stay tuned for that. But today we're going to use what we have on hand in our pantry. So 1 can of cream of chicken, and then you're going to add about 1.5 cans of broth, or I might have added just a little more here. That's chicken broth, and you're just going to add that right on top of your other ingredients. You want to give that a little mix, and then you're going to add in some minced onion, which I use in my case, or you could also use onion powder. I'm just going to sprinkle that in, and then you're going to lay your chicken on top of your soup mixture. Now I am using a boneless, skinless chicken breast. You could probably even use the boneless, skinless thighs. I'm sure either one of those would turn out great. Next, we're going to add in our seasonings. Now today I'm using a little bit of seasoned salt, some buttery steakhouse seasoning, some garlic and herb seasoning, and some salt and black pepper. But you could also add in some smoked paprika to this. Really, you can use whatever seasonings you like. And I say season with your heart. So you might want to put a little bit more or a little bit less. But basically, just season the chicken how you like. Add your lid, and then we're going to cook this on high for 4 hours. We are so blessed to still be getting some produce out of our garden here in early October. So today we're going to pair this with some fresh green beans from the garden, and I've cooked some apples, and then I made up some quick biscuits that I cooked in our cast iron skillet in the oven. So those made perfect sides to go along with that creamy rice chicken. Now that it's done, the house smells amazing, and y'all, this is so good. You've got to try this. Now, one thing I may do different next time is to spray my slow cooker a little bit better, because it did stick to the sides a little bit, and maybe even add in a little more chicken broth. So I would say definitely go with the 2 cans of broth over the 1.5 cans. But isn't this a good looking plate? It was absolutely delicious, and we will definitely be making this again and again. Now this next recipe is something I have been wanting to try for a really long time. It's a Mississippi roast that you make, you guessed it, in the slow cooker. So on this night, I decided to give this recipe a try. We had a chuck roast in our freezer that needed to be used. I think we got a couple of dinners off of this. I paired it with some really good sides that we grew in our very own garden. I'll show you those and how we made this Mississippi roast. We're gonna make a Mississippi roast, and I'm following a recipe that I've had for years and always wanted to try. I just happen to have this chuck roast in my freezer that need to be used. So this is about a 2-pound chuck roast. Then we're gonna need some ranch dressing mix. You can use the packet. I have this can here, so I'm gonna use about 3 tablespoons. We're gonna need a pack of the au jus mix. And then the recipe I have calls for the pepperoncini peppers. I don't have any of those on hand, but I do have these banana peppers, so I'm just going to use what I have. We're going to try this. It might be better with the other peppers, but I think this will be just as good. And then you'll just need a stick of butter. Going to give our slow cooker a good spray. Then we're going to add our chuck roast in. Once we've added our chuck roast in, we're going to add about 3 tablespoons of our ranch seasoning mix. Just sprinkle that on top. Just going to eyeball it. That looks about right. Then I'm going to add a packet of our au jus. This is a French dip mix. That right on top. Our recipe calls for 5 whole peppers, and since I'm using the banana peppers that are already sliced, I'm just going to get about 5 forkfuls in here. A stick of butter goes right on top. And then we're just going to pop a lid on it. It's going to cook. You can either cook this on low for 8 hours or on high for 4. We're going to use some of our garden veggies to go along with that roast today. Those are some fresh potatoes from this year's garden and okra from last year's garden that we pulled out of the freezer and fried up. This ended up being such a delicious dinner. That roast was amazing, y'all. The flavors were perfect together. And it turned out just fork tender. Oh my goodness. That sauce, au jus, I think I'm saying that right. Oh, such a good flavor, especially with those peppers. And I did not miss the pepperoncini peppers. I think the banana peppers worked just as well. I did make those potatoes into cream potatoes, and that sauce from the roast was a perfect gravy for those potatoes. I'm already looking for another roast so that we can have this again. So this video would not be complete without a cozy, comforting pasta recipe to make in the slow cooker. So I gave this recipe a little bit of a spin and tried putting together a couple of different recipes to make this baked ziti. Again, these are very basic ingredients today that you should have no trouble locating in your grocery store. Today we're going to use a hot Italian sausage. Now these came in links, but I'm going to try a little something today. I've never tried this before, but we have a freezer full of brats and Italian sausage links, and I thought maybe I could just take the sausage casing off and use this like the ground Italian sausage. So that's just what I did, and it worked out perfectly. So a lot of times you can find the brats and the Italian sausages like this marked down at your grocery store. It's a better deal to buy them this way. And if you want to take the time to take the casings off, you can turn these into so many dinner options. So definitely give that a try if you find yourself with an excess amount of brats or Italian sausages. You're going to want to brown this in your skillet until it's cooked all the way through. It only takes maybe about 5 or 6 minutes. And then at this point, you're going to want to add 2 jars of spaghetti sauce. Now, I completely forget to do that, which you're going to see later on in the video. But that is the point that it would probably be most helpful to add your spaghetti sauce. Now I'm going to go ahead and shred my mozzarella cheese. You could buy this pre-shredded. I like to buy the blocks of cheese and shred this myself. So that's 2 cups of mozzarella cheese. You're also going to need 2 beaten eggs. Next, we're going to add 1 15-ounce container of ricotta cheese. I'm using the part skim, but any kind will do. You're also going to need 3/4 of a cup of grated Parmesan cheese, and I'm going to also add in about 2 tablespoons of minced garlic. The last thing we're going to add here is about 1/2 teaspoon of dried oregano, and then I'm also going to add about the same amount of Italian seasoning, and then you're just going to mix this together really well. and add in about 1.5 cups of that shredded mozzarella cheese. I'm going to reserve about 1/2 cup, and we will use that later at the end to sprinkle on top. Now once you've mixed this together, it's time for you to assemble your baked ziti, and you're going to do this very much like you would a lasagna. So we're going to add our sauce to the bottom of the slow cooker there, and then you're just going to add in your ziti noodles. Now this is 1 16-ounce box of ziti noodles, and you just start with the sauce, the noodles, your cheese mixture, and then you repeat until you have used up all of your ingredients. Now this is where I messed up. I should have added the sauce into my meat mixture. That would have been a lot easier. So I had to kind of go in reverse and add in the meat. But if you will do this step at the beginning, then that will save you some time. Either way, it all tastes just as good in the end. You know, sometimes we make mistakes, and that's okay. We can recover. It is helpful to end with a little bit of sauce because you just want to make sure that all of your noodles are completely covered so that they will cook all the way through. And then the final step here is just to add that top layer of shredded cheese. Add your lid to the top, and we're going to cook this on high for 2.5 hours. Another successful slow cooker meal. It would be really hard for me to pick a favorite from these three. They were all just amazing in their own way. I think if I polled my family, they would probably tell you that the roast was their favorite, but I will say that this baked ziti recipe would be perfect if you need to feed a crowd. This has been feeding us for about 3 or 4 nights with leftovers, so definitely it will go a long way. I had made some homemade rosemary bread, and it was just perfect with this baked ziti, but you could add a salad. So good. Definitely give this one a try. That's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed seeing those very easy slow cooker recipes. Hopefully you'll give those a try for you and your loved ones, and let me know in the comments how you like them. If you have any recipes that you love, especially slow cooker recipes, because we are all very busy this time of year and love something that's easy and that we can put together and be ready when we get home from those busy schedules. So if you have a slow cooker recipe that you would like to share with us, make sure you leave that down in the comments below. I look forward to seeing you in some upcoming videos. More DIY projects, more recipes, more from the home, more from the garden, more decorating coming your way. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Like this video, share it with your friends. And until next time, remember to live simply, use what you have, enjoy the moments you've been given, and I will see you all in the next one.